Welcome back to V2K Photography, and this is the Sony 200-600 f5.6 to 6.3 lens. It costs $2,000 and let's see if it's worth it. First of all, let's look at the autofocus performance. Thanks to its supersonic wave motor, the autofocus is blazing fast. I was able to make some decent images of some birds in flight, and keep in mind I am not a bird photographer nor a wildlife photographer. If I could get these many images in focus, and I'm sure with your enthusiasm and skills you can do wonders with this lens. I am not a bird photographer, but I can still pull it off. I was just relying on the technology here. Also, I let my friend Krishna try his hands at this lens shooting some race cars. Even though the autofocus is fabulous with this lens, experience truly matters. I was not able to make really good images, but he was. So shooting panning shots were like a breeze to him. Me, not so much. When it comes to astrophotography, the only star I could shoot properly was our own, the sun. Apart from that, the moon shots came out brilliant too. When used with an APS-C body, we get a field of view of 900 millimeters, and that's a great reach for the moon and the sun. 6.3 aperture is not ideal for low light. To shoot stars without motion trails, you need faster shutter speed. So bumping up the ISO is the only way, or you could get a good tracker and shoot distant stars. This is not a video-centric lens, but I still made some tests, and the results were pretty much as I expected. Smooth autofocus transitions, confident tracking. Even in manual focus, the lens is so responsive. The manual focus ring is so good and responsive and very smooth. Portraits, yes, you can shoot portraits with this lens. I'm sure you'll be tempted to zoom all the way to 600 millimeters, and when you do that, the talent has to be really far away for a decent portrait, and you'll be yelling instructions at your talent for the poses. Keep that in mind. And this is not a wide open, fast prime lens. The subject separation is there, but it's not like it's completely molten away. The bokeh is smooth, circular, and clear thanks to its 11-blade diaphragm. And there is some chromatic aberration, but it's not too jarring like other G lenses. This lens is also extraordinarily sharp. The lens yields amazing results, can even resolve with an A7R4 with 60 megapixel sensor. The maximum aperture on this lens is 5.6 until 300 millimeters. When you cross the 300 millimeter zoom mark, you will get a 6.3 lens. So I think this lens is mostly a 6.3 lens. And how big of a difference is it? It's 1/3 of a stop difference. The lens has a dedicated autofocus manual focus button. We have 3 ranges of autofocus. One is a full range, a 10 meter to 2.4 meter. a 2.4 to 10 meter, and a 10 meter to infinity autofocus. We also have optical stabilization on this lens, optical SteadyShot in Sony world. At 600 millimeters, the stabilization was really good. 4 to 5 stops of stabilization from the lens. The Alpha 6400 does not have IBIS, so some really awesome performance there in terms of stabilization. The lens weighs 2,115 grams. I felt the lens is pretty front heavy, even when combined with a bigger body like the A7 III. It is expected, but these smaller mirrorless bodies make it completely unbalanced in hands. The zoom throw is really short. Just a 90-degree turn will cover the whole zoom range. The zoom ring is so smooth. It doesn't struggle anywhere in the range. It is really, really, really smooth. Completely loved using this lens. The lens also has a custom button. I had it assigned to the autofocus as I can't do back button focusing with the A6400 body. The front filter is 95 millimeters. It's going to be expensive for filters. 6.3 aperture mostly would not require filters. The rubber casket in the lens provides weather sealing from dust and moisture. This lens is not parfocal, and it is not advertised as well. It loses focus when you zoom in and zoom out in manual focus mode. The autofocus, however, keeps up with the subject when you zoom in and zoom out. Absolutely no worries there. The lens is great for bird, wildlife, and sports photography, and I think this lens is aimed at enthusiasts before they get to the longer focal length primes, which are like multiple folds more expensive than this lens. And yes, this lens is a great place to start and to practice before the 2.8 and 4 prime lenses. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, bye-bye.